What's going on, everybody? My name is Matt, also known as Alpine, and I like to build Minecraft cities. Behind me, we have the sun coming up, and we are here in the city of Sequoia. We have those beautiful mountains hiding over there in the distance. But today, I'm going to be showing you 15 decoration ideas for your Minecraft city, because all the time I get asked, hey Alpine, what do I actually put on my streets? So we're going to go around the city, and I'm going to show you 15 different ideas to spice it up. You ready? Let's do it. Number one, we have Streetlights. Hello, Streetlights. How you doing? That's one right there. He's hanging out. So throughout the city of Sequoia, we do use a variety of designs for our streetlights, but they're all very similar in dimension. So the first thing you'll notice is that along this curb, you actually do place it one up. So it is flush with the sidewalk, and you do gain an extra block from here down to the road. So from the roads up to this point right here, and you'll see that this does not actually emit lights, at least not during the day, but I have a little trick up my sleeve, which I'll show you here in a minute. Let's go 1, 2, whoa, I don't know how to use scaffolding. Let's try this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope. 10, 11, 12. There you go. So 12 blocks before you hit the bottom half of this slab. So 12 blocks from here to here. Now, in this city, we build at a 1.5 to 1 scale, meaning everything is 50% larger, which also means that we get to detail a little bit better so that we can make some cool stuff that looks like that. So if this is 12 blocks from here to here, that means you go up 1. This is a total of 11 up to this block right here, which means that if you take 11 minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, that means this section right here is 8 blocks tall. Now, if we head up top here, if I could figure out how scaffolding works, that would be great. But up top, it looks a little something like this. So this is on the top half of the block. This goes across, down, so it's 2, 2, and then 1. Feel free to copy this design. I use them all over the place, but I think it makes a nice arc over top of there. But it's still pretty simple and pretty subtle. Now I've gone ahead and given myself 3 light blocks because I want to show you the little trick that I use to make it look like this is actually emitting light. But first, we have to wait for night. It is now 8 p.m. We can see the skyscrapers slowly being lit up. That is Central Park Tower. It is not done yet. But that is another tower that I'm building, but I'm using distant horizons, so it's a little bit hard to see. Here's the trick that I use. So I have 3 light blocks, but you only need 2. First, you go directly underneath the light, and then you're going to take your second light block, go all the way up here, and put it on the underside of that one right there. So if we fly down here, ouch, and now it looks like it is emitting light, which you can see we have added all the way over there and along these intersections here as well. Now, another big question that I get about these streetlights is how do you actually space them out? Do you put one every 10 blocks, 20 blocks, 30 blocks? Well, here's the number I use. I use 31 block increments. But let me show you what I mean. So we'll turn it back to day here, but I use 31 block increments from right here all the way to right, line it up, here. So from here to that one down there is 31 blocks. And I use sort of a zigzag pattern, which means if I have one street light on this side of the road, I come 31 blocks down, I go directly across, 1 block over, and then I have the other street light. And then I'll do the same thing with the lights. And then once you want to get to the other one, 31 blocks down, starting right here, ending 1 block before that one, cross the street, and then you build another one just like that. Now, you don't want to get too close to your intersections because in these intersections, you can also see that there are street lights up there. So this one here is as close as I would get. That one's probably, I'd say, about 20 blocks from the intersection. But you want to, don't go 5 blocks away from the intersection if you already have lights down there. So that is the first decoration. Let's move on to number 2. For number 2, we have to go way up here in the skyline, and you can already see what it might be. Number 2 for decorations is cranes. Now I want to talk about the different types of cranes like these two and where you actually put them so it makes sense from an engineering perspective. Number 1, this is called a luffing jib, which is very great if you are constrained by other skyscrapers. Compared to this one is going to swing around, and if you have another tower that's right beside it, you don't want to do that because you're going to be restricted on where you can actually move this crane. This one's really great if you have all of the space in the world to rotate it 360 degrees. But if you are constrained for space, consider using that one down there. This one is a luffing jib, and this one right behind me is called a hammerhead. Now, the names may vary depending on where in the world that you are, but in general, those are the names that I, well, found online. For number 3, we're going to go back into the neighborhood of East Village. If you take a look here, you'll notice that a lot of these buildings are actually quite similar when you look from above. But if we fly down here, you may notice, if I take a turn to the left, the facades of the buildings, also known as the front and the back, basically just the outside, they look quite different. So, if the progress in your city is feeling quite slow, you should use templates. Now, what you'll notice with these templates is they are all the same height, but the only differences are the bottom is changed. So this one here, you have a door there and window. This one, you have a staircase that goes up and then windows on the bottom. This one's a little bit different, where I essentially copy and pasted it over. I left this here, but the actual door itself is down here. Now, that's not supposed to be there, but you basically make a ground floor, a middle floor that you are able to stack up and down so you can change the height. And then if you want, up at the top, you change what is called the cornice and the parapet. But if we head inside, I will show you that the internal structure is actually all identical. That's not a door. Okay, I have made it inside using some magic. But anyway, this is what the inside looks like. They are all identical. And this here, you have your internal staircase, because in all of the buildings in Sequoia, I require there to be internal circulation. So you can climb all the way up. This is just very, very simple. And then up top here, I don't have a button. Am I not allowed up here? Hello? 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 Let me out. Whoever owns this building, you're going to have to replace that door. But this is what the rooftop looks like. A little bit of texturing on top. But if we walk over them, they are pretty much identical. This one is slightly different, where it does go down by 1 block. You can add a little bit of variation, but that's essentially the idea. Use templates, change it up a little bit if you want, and then all of a sudden, instead of one building, you have about 100. Now, in the city of Sequoia, I believe in total there are 16 different templates, but if I fly over this way, these are the original ones. So this was the first building out in Sequoia. Second building, this was actually the third, which was renovated by my friend Josh. And then I continued to build all of these templates on the left. Geometrically, they're all pretty much identical with just changes in the material, slight differences in the facade. You have the parapet that goes up this way to prevent water that accumulates on the roof from spilling over and then hitting some poor grandma down there. And then your cornice up top, which just kind of sticks out over the facade a little bit, just like that. If we come down here, we can see a better view. So see that? It just kind of pokes out a little bit. Ow. I'm really struggling today, but it just helps keep some of the water off the facade, because in general, water and buildings don't mix. Ooh, Chrysler building. So that is number 3. Now let's move on to number 4, which is trees. I love trees. You love trees. Well, you'd better anyway. Otherwise, I'm going to find you and pelt you with timbits, so watch out. You know what? I'm going to go. That's it. You want to know what you've done? You haven't used trees in your city. Or at least properly anyway. So I'm going to go to Tim Hortons right now. I'm going to get some Timbits. And then I'm going to find where you live and pelt you with Timbits. So just give me a minute while I find Tim Hortons. We do have a Tim Hortons. I don't know where it went. Hold on. It is around here somewhere. Ha! That's right. I am going to pelt you with Timbits. And there's nothing that you can do about it. Mwahaha! 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 Sorry, I had something in my throat. Where were we talking about again? Oh, trees, right. As I was saying, you can and should have trees, well, depending on your climate. If you're building a city like Phoenix, Arizona, you're probably going to have less trees because it's in a desert climate. In the majority of instances, I would highly recommend it. And there's a couple reasons for it. First of all, it looks great. I love it. Second of all, if it gets quite warm in the summer, if you have trees that cover up your pavement, that means your pavement is not going to get as warm in the summer, which means it's going to be a lot more pleasant for the people walking around your city. This is what we like to call the urban heat island effect, which basically means concrete and pavement heat up a lot and they will retain heat and kind of make it a little bit miserable in the summer. Let's go around and take a look at some of the trees that we use here in the city of Sequoia. We do see that we have a wide variety of trees, except right here because I just kind of copy and pasted them, but these were built by my friend Jay. You might notice that there are a lot of materials in this one, and a lot of this is probably not going to be possible unless you have World Edit or Axiom. And I know I'm in survival, but we did not build this in survival. But I guess you could build this one in survival. This one's a little bit more simple. This was built by me when I first started the city. This is just logs, and you have some fences and some leaves. It's very simple. Basically, my process is I will build the branches. I will slowly go out and add these fences, and then I will kind of place all of these leaves around here, and then basically just go and smack them, get rid of some of them. But in your city, it's a very good idea to have a mix of size of trees. So you have some large ones, a couple smaller ones like that one right there, another small one right there, and apparently I don't have any trees on this street, but that's fine. Let's go back in this way. Another small one, couple big ones. But if we go into the park right here, which is based on Tompkins Square Park, we can see a wide variety. Big trees, small trees, medium trees, tiny bush. Ow. But you can, there we go, also have trees that are just planted. So to give you an example of this, we are going to fly all the way over the skyline and then over to the other side of the map to a neighborhood called Point Grey, which is based on Point Grey in Vancouver, British Columbia. And here we are over in Point Grey. This is a much more residential neighborhood. We get to see the other trees that I would like to show you. So a couple different varieties of trees hanging out over here. And this one right here, this is a baby tree where you still have the plastic wrap around the bottom. I like to put some podzol right down there because it was just planted. And looks a little something like this. We also have some different trees. There's this one right here. These are designed by my friend Rainey, who also designed this terrain. Thank you, Rainey. Rainey also sells them. Rainey, if you are in the comments, let the people know. He's got a Patreon if you would like to use these trees in your city. You can also arrange your trees so that they're in a row. I like to do this in residential neighborhoods so that it provides a little bit of privacy. So you have these cars that go up and down here, and you don't really have any houses that are facing onto the street. Some larger trees like that one, and a couple more like that. But yeah, you get the picture. So that is trees. Next, let's talk about garbage cans. Okay, so here we are on 1st Avenue, and I like to add garbage cans pretty much at the corner of intersections. I don't add them on every corner. Basically, with this design, I just put a slab and then some trapdoors that go up around it. That's pretty much it. And while we're here, we can talk about number 6, which is traffic lights. Looks a little something like this. I have the walls that stick out in every direction. You will probably need either a debug stick or World Edit or Axiom to do this. So using our trusty scaffolding from the road to the bottom of right there, it is 8 blocks. And then how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up there. And then 1, 2. So this is 8. From here to here is 9, 9.5. Yeah, 9.5. That makes sense. 7 plays. I don't know. I swear I have an engineering degree. But anyway, talking about the design in particular, I like to have sort of this arc. Goes up like this. So 1, 2. Then you have 2, 2, and 3. Up here, you do need some magic to make this work, but these are just pressure plates. I just use that as sort of a tension member, connecting all the way up there. Down here, these are going to be street signs. I still need to do that for all of the different intersections. And you might be wondering what these are. If you come over here and you say, hey, I'm a pedestrian, I would like to cross the road. How do I know if it's safe to cross? Well, you're going to look at this and you're going to say, I don't know what sandstone means, but use your imagination and pretend it's a walk light. Ah, truck, buh. But that's pretty much it. That one and that one. And you can see the design language of this compared to the streetlights is very comparable. Not all of these traffic lights are the same. So look at that beautiful light. I love these shaders. I use Bliss shaders, by the way, but they're not all identical because this one, it goes out diagonally. A little different here. This one goes diagonally out across here because this is, well, I thought it was a one-way road. I need to take a look at my traffic lights again and make sure that they're actually in the right position. But basically, if you're this truck, and you're driving it, and you say, hey, I need to get through there, you're going to be looking at this side right here. You're not going to be looking at this one instead. So let's move on to number 7, which is signs. And for signs, I like to keep them pretty simple. This is a sign right here. These are just birch fences, so 1, 2, 3, and then I like to put a prismarine wall right on top. So this can either be like a bus stop or like a no parking, I guess. This one's just 2, and then you have a diorite wall on top. So you can change up like that. And bonus idea, you can add some bike racks just like that. Now, if you want to get really fancy, you can use maps and somehow make like a stop sign or, I don't know, like a this way to airport sign. But I try to limit the use of entities, and I try to encourage my builders to limit the use of entities just because I find it does lag players with lower end computers. Anyway, that is number 7. Let's move on to number 8, which is fire hydrants. So we'll go back into the neighborhood of East Village. Ooh, there's lots of cool stuff going on here. But we'll go back over this way and see if we can find some fire hydrants. So back to the original intersection, we can see we have a fire hydrant right here. So this is just a wall that I made poke out on all of the different sides, and then I added a button on top just like that. Now, what I like to do for these fire hydrants, I like to add a little something like this with your smooth stone in a 3x2 pattern that connects directly to this curb right here. So basically, the way that I try to place these fire hydrants, I will have either 1 or 2 beside each intersection, or I'll try to. This one has 3 for some reason. It has 4. I don't know. Okay, I have way too many fire hydrants here. But basically the idea, if you are coming to fight a fire as a firefighter, you need to be relatively close to a fire hydrant at all times. So that's kind of the idea. Usually I don't put them in the middle of city blocks. I do try to put them closer to intersections. So let's move on to number 9, which is bike lanes. As you can see here, we have a bike lane that has just started. And we like to use a little bit of green concrete and some fancy entity work using Axiom. Now, this is one of the times that I am okay with using entities. And Mata Arch, who will probably be in the comment section, make sure to go subscribe to him. But he has designed these right here. As you cross these intersections, you can add some buttons that are either pre-pressed or not pressed at all, just so that if you are a driver, you can be like, ooh, what is that? What do those mean? And then you'll see, oh, it's a bike lane. I probably should not park right here, even though people will do it anyway. It drives me nuts. But with your bike lanes, it is preferred to have it separated from the actual driving lanes. So in this case, we do have some paint. It goes in this way. And then you have 3 blocks between your road and your bike lane. Another idea for your bike lanes, which go along here, you can have a bike share program, which is really great. I live in Vancouver. We do have them here. Basically, you download an app on your phone. Actually, no, that's not true. You don't need to download an app, but you can go to the website of whatever company owns these bikes. You sign up for an account, and then you link your credit card. And then basically what you can do is whenever you see one of these bike share stations, you go up, you hop on the bike, you take it out. After you put in your little code there, and it'll charge you for however long you're on the bike. Or you can get an annual membership, like I have. Then you can just take it however far you want, whenever you want. So with these bike shares, which were built by Mata Arch, I have added them once every, I think, 2 blocks? 3 blocks? Let's see. Where's the next one? Here you go. Next one right down here. And if you're wondering what this thing is, this is a little station so that if you do not have access to the internet, usually there's a little screen. You can come up here and you can go beep, boop, beep. I would like a bike. Here's my credit card. So this is usually used for tourists or people that are visiting the city rather than the residents. Although the residents could use it, but usually you'll just sign up online. We don't have bike lanes everywhere just yet. I don't think we're going to put them on every single street. But something else that you could include in your city is a comprehensive bike network. Now, over here, we see this road that bounds the south side and this road over here that bounds the north side. This is going to be our equivalent of Central Park in New York. Within here, I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do for roads or paths yet, but what I do know is we are going to include a lot of room for bikes. Our next item is dumpsters, garbage bags, and recycling bins. So I have one building in particular that I built where I put a dumpster out back. So let's go take a look. So this is a dumpster that I like to use. It is made of something. I don't know what material this is, but I'm sure you guys do. I just like to add some fences, fence gates, just like that, so that you can pick it up with a garbage truck. But obviously this one you'd have to drag out onto the road, which you would pull right over there. Now I know it's a little bit inconvenient because it can't exactly fit any trucks back here, but yeah, you'd basically just drag it out this way and over to this road. But if we go back in here, we can see a little garbage bag. So you have these kelp blocks, then a little lily pad thing. I don't know. It's not a lily pad. I don't know the new blocks. I don't know how to build in Minecraft. You guys probably know what this is. Now, there's a couple other designs, which I will show you. Let's see if we can take off here. Nope. Come on, go up. Let's go over here to our new neighborhoods / big street. It's called Main Street. There's a lot of new designs from some of our new builders, so we're going to go take a look. Sneak peek of my building. There we go. We can see it loading in there very, very slowly. And here we go. We are over Central Park and then turning down Main Street. Obviously a work in progress with a lot of variety in the trees. But we will go in the laneway here. And let's take a look at a couple more designs. You do have these dumpsters, which are for your cardboard recycling. You have some garbage bags here. And I really like this design with the dragon egg, and you can add a button on top. No idea what that is. I don't know if it's a player head or not. But I also like this dumpster right here. I think it's a pretty cool design. Well, that one's similar. But you can also add these melon seeds on top like that. And it looks like a little garbage bag, which is kind of fun. Also another nice little detail. Just add some ladders up top. Then little rails like that if you do have access to Axiom or World Edit. Also, check out that view. That's pretty good. Not too bad. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. This could be an entire other video. That is number 10. We're going to go back into the city once again and talk about number 11, which is your water drainage. Let's see if we can find some water drainage. It should be around here somewhere and hopefully not too hard to find. Here we go, back in that original intersection. You can do something like this. So I use these wax copper, and by me, I mean, I think Mata designed this. Go subscribe to Mata. But basically, you have your curb, and then I like to use these upside down stairs, and then do a little something like that. Down here, I like to make it drop off, so this is also a stair that goes down that way. And then you just put a block that is black down there. Or if you're feeling really ambitious, then you can add a sewer system. So if I go into spectator mode and go underground, all of a sudden, don't mind that, all of a sudden, you can have a sewer system. Interesting. I wonder if there's any secrets down here. But if we continue to fly over this way, you can see that it does indeed connect to one of them right here. I don't think there's actually a way into this. Maybe there is somewhere else. But just an idea. So let's move on to number 12, which is texturing your roads. Now you can see that we use gray concrete powder for the base layer of our roads, which is a personal favorite of mine. So for your texturing, you can add something like this, where you have this gray concrete. So this is sort of like patchwork, where they would come in and, patch up the road, because all these buses keep driving on it, keep breaking it. And if we come up even further here you go. Basically, you can see that we texture the roads, make it look a little bit more rough. Now, it's always great to have a nice variety in your city. So these ones are well worn and well repaired, because we do have a lot of vehicles going up and down. Not right now, I haven't added them with the exception of the buses, but you get the picture. But if we go back over here towards the church and the historical area, you can see that the texturing will change slightly. Now keep an eye on the roads. And as soon as you go over here, we have this one that looks a little more historic. Maybe used to be cobblestone, but starting to fade a little bit. But you can also see that the regular sidewalk materials, it also changes just like this. So it's not just the roads that you can texture. I would recommend changing up your sidewalks as well, just for some visual interest. Now moving on to number 13, which is parks. Now if we fly up here, we will see that we do have a very large park right in the middle here. This is based on Tompkins Square Park in East Village, New York City. I have blocked off 2 entire city blocks for this park, combined it, and then it looks a little something like this. So this is very much based on New York. You do have these iron bars that go all the way around. Little playground. This one's a little memorial or something. And then in here, this is one of my favorite parts of the city, and this is actually where you spawn when you first join Sequoia, which you can download on my website, by the way. We do not have a public server yet, but right here, if we come to the spawn, welcome to East Village, welcome to Sequoia, you have a little village. This is a 1.14.4 village with a nice view of the skyline. But this is definitely the largest completed park in the city. But as we saw a few minutes ago, we are also building the equivalent of Central Park in New York towards the city side. I'm not sure what we're going to do on the west side, but stay tuned for that. So that one's going to be a much larger park. And also in your city, especially in the middle of city blocks, you can add some smaller parks as well. A couple more ideas, little pool, basketball courts, you have some workout equipment down there. But if we go up this way, this is the East Village School of Fine Arts. But down here, We have a nice little park, little market hanging out over here. Marcus's Cakes. And a little performing arts center right down there. Seems to be a play going on. All this to say, have big parks, medium parks, and small parks. They can be natural parks, or they can be more urban if you are in an urban environment. Now, moving on to number 14 is vehicles. We can see that there are a handful of vehicles hanging out around here, but if we fly down here, these are the template vehicles that I have built. But whenever I want to fill up a road, I will come right to this road, and then I will go ahead and copy these vehicles in so that they're also kind of like the templates where you basically just copy and paste them all over the place. Now, since this section of the city is based on New York, in New York, you see a lot of vehicles that look like this, either Range Rovers or things like that, like those black SUVs. There's also a lot of taxis here as well. You'll also see a lot of United States Postal Service vehicles that look like this. And I do have a FedEx one tied right down there. And a couple other ones down there. A larger truck that is 4 blocks across, but the standard vehicle width is 3. Now, if you'd like to learn more about how I design my vehicles, I have an entire video about the exact steps that I take to make all of these templates so that you can also make vehicles that are consistent and then you can copy and paste across your entire city. If you're wondering which video it is, it's this one right here. Build a Minecraft City, Vehicles 101. And number 15, our very last item is power lines. Now, flying around here, you really won't see any power lines because we have made the assumption that all of the electrical utilities are underground. If we fly once again way over here, we are going to go all the way over to Main Street, past that, and then over to Point Grey in Sequoia. Oh, look, how'd we get here so fast? I definitely didn't teleport. We will go back into what is called a laneway. These are designed by Mata Arch. Once again, he will probably be in the comments. Make sure to go check out his content as well. But it looks a little something like this. Use these mud bricks. Then up top, you have these fence gates that are open. And then we like to connect our power lines using chains. I think it's pretty cool. Now, you do also have these transformers on the side, which are just walls. You have a button right here and then another button right up top there. And to actually connect these, we use World Edit and the /line command. Now, you do have to be careful with the placement in these laneways because it does sort of infringe on some of these property lines. But you don't really want to have them in the laneway because this needs to be at least probably 4, 5, maybe 6 wide so that you do have enough room to bring your garbage trucks back here to actually collect your bins. And then back here for this complex, what does this say? Please keep the gate closed. Raccoons will eat everything. Well, I left them open, so oh well. Now, back to the power lines here. This is just one design. Well, 1.5. But if we go back this way and over to this building that will slowly load in, we can see that there are a lot more designs hanging out here. We'll fly by them real quick and then we'll walk up close. So this is really comparable to the other one that we just saw. Same thing with this here, but this one adds another one that crosses this way. So now you can have these power lines that go over here. These are all designed by Mata. Ooh, another cool sign design. That's pretty cool. Oh, cool. But Mata came up with these really cool designs. We have these little thingies that go down here. I don't know exactly what they're for. But if there's somebody that has a background in electrical engineering, perhaps maybe you are a final year university student in electrical engineering, maybe you could enlighten the public on what these things do. Here's another one down here. This is just the very end. And it also goes down like that. What does that sign say? Pay parking. Yes, please pay your parking. Lots of cool ideas for you. I hope this video was useful. If you did find it useful, if you don't mind clicking like, just helps with the YouTube algorithm and helps me to reach more people who may also enjoy this content. Also, make sure to check out my new city planning course, City Design 101. The link will be in the description, but the intention is to help you design your best Minecraft city yet. It includes a full 23-page PDF that covers nearly every aspect of planning a Minecraft city, divided into 5 modules covering world and terrain design, establishing a realistic theme, planning the city and neighborhoods, detailing infrastructure, transit, and bringing the entire city together using all of these different systems. It includes plenty of videos with examples from real-life cities, an advanced building design checklist, Minecraft city schematics built by me, and the planning documents that I use for the city of Sequoia. This course is online and completed at your own pace with new features, content, and tools being added as myself and my team design the Minecraft city of Sequoia. Now, the best part is that it is a one-time payment. There's no subscription, but it includes lifetime updates. Can I nail this? Whoa, that was close. One-time payment, lifetime updates. There's lots of cool stuff in there, and maybe you can build some stuff like this. Anyway, join City Design 101 today by going to my website, www.alpine1.co. The link will be in the description. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Matt. You're watching Alpine.